continue to work with them as Algoma Steel is going through a difficult situation.
Liberal Party's getting desperate. They're throwing up minister after minister at Pierre Poilievre to see which one of them can take traction with the Liberal base. Welcome to the Canadian Shield. My name is Sterling. In all my time covering the House of Commons, I've learned one thing. The Liberal Party doesn't have anybody that can take on Pierre Poilievre one versus one. The leader of the Liberal Party gets completely trounced all the time. And when the leader is not in the House of Commons, which is increasing more and more, the Liberals decide to throw up the entire bench at Pierre Poilievre. And he takes it with grace and poise. But it's a good sign that the Liberal Party knows that they can't beat him one-on-one, so they have to gang up on him. Welcome to this episode of the House of Combat. Let's dive in.
Mr. Speaker, today Algoma announced it's laying off 1,000 steel workers, nearly a third of its workforce in the Soo. Our thoughts are with them. The Prime Minister looked them in the eye and promised he would protect their jobs, that he would negotiate a win, and I quote, have a deal by July 21st, but it was a bait and switch that is costing people their livelihoods. On top of that, Liberals are hammering the steel mill with a higher industrial carbon tax. Isn't it bad enough that the Prime Minister broke his promise on trade? Why is he going ahead with an industrial carbon tax that will kill even more steel jobs?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Obviously, our thoughts are with the workers affected by the unjustified and unjustifiable tariffs imposed by the White House, and will continue to work with them as Algoma Steel is going through a difficult situation, to say the least. Mr. Speaker, my team and I have been in contact with Algoma's leadership team. We absolutely have every confidence in the Algoma workers as they're going through this hardship, and we will make sure that we support them as they're developing new products and also accessing new markets. We'll fight for these jobs, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, good. Melanie Joly's going to fight for these jobs because she just got off the phone with the person that's affected. It's always the same thing. When it's the auto sector, she just got off the phone with them and we're going to fight for these jobs. Now it's the steel sector. Oh, we just got off the phone with them and we're going to fight for these jobs. I am tired of the Liberal Party making promises without any results. In addition, I'm tired of them trying to pass the buck to Donald Trump. These tariffs have been in place for a long time. By this point, you should have come up with a strategy that's able to deal with it. Further, it's not unjustifiable. Donald Trump is laying them down against the entire world, and he has the right to do so. In fact, Mark Carney said so from a speech that he said when he realized that he wasn't going to be able to defeat Donald Trump, and he just surrendered and said, well, it's no big deal. We got 85% of our products going across debt tariff-free anyway. Just more of the same old song and dance.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, more promises and more Liberal thoughts will not put food on the table of those out-of-work steel workers. And they're not alone. The Liberal food cost crisis is growing, according to today's Feed Ontario report, which reveals that food bank use is up 13% in 1 year and 165% since this Prime Minister became the economic advisor to this Liberal government. 8.7 million Ontario visits in 1 year to the Ontario Food Bank, while this Prime Minister hikes carbon taxes on food production. Why is he driving more people into hunger with higher taxes?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Mr. Speaker, every step of the way, these Conservatives fight against the supports that Canadian families talk about needing. And in fact, Mr. Speaker, they just asked a question about workers that are facing job losses at Algoma Steel. And yet, Mr. Speaker, when they had a chance to vote for expansion of EI, for easier access, longer duration, and more generous benefits, they voted against it, Mr. Speaker. So how do they in any way have the right to stand up and talk about the needs of Canadians when they stand in the way of the supports that those very Canadians need?
This is the problem with socialism, everybody. They just think that they'll be able to promise you handouts. Then don't get a job. Don't worry about it. Just sit in your apartment getting evicted. Don't worry about having any luxuries. The government is promising to give you the bare minimum as all of the things around you increasing in cost because of the taxes that they have to impose on that very same industry so that they can try to give you the handouts. Oh, it's handouts. That's all they want. You should be happy with the handouts, guys. Don't you know that the dignity and the individualism that you gain from having a successful job threatens the Liberal Party, obviously, because all they want to do is talk about handouts and some budget that has produced zero results in, what is it now, 10 years?
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The supports that those Canadians want and need is a paycheck, Mr. Speaker. They want to be able to afford food. They should be able. In a country with this much farmland and this much wealth, our people should be able to eat. But according to the latest report by Feed Ontario, there's been a 165% increase in food bank use in Ontario alone since this Prime Minister joined this government. Yet he wants to go ahead with an industrial carbon tax on farm equipment, food processors, and fertilizer that will drive up the cost of food. Why does he get fat on his tax havens while he taxes?
Honorable Ministre des Finances.
Mr. Speaker, it's amazing to hear the Leader of the Opposition, because the first thing we did is to make sure that Canadians would have more money in their pocket, Mr. Speaker. We, in fact, reduced taxes for Canadians, 22 million Canadians. But you know what, Mr. Speaker? What's most disturbing for Canadians watching at home? At every step of the way, where we were there for families, where we were there for workers, where we were there for Canadians, they stand in the way, Mr. Speaker. That's the leader who voted against Canadian. On this side of the House, we believe in Canada. We're going to grow this country. We're going to work for families. We're going to protect the worker. We're going to build Canada, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable
Couple of things. First of all, they've been saying that same old rhetoric since 2020. I think they started saying that over the COVID. We're going to get it for Canadians. It was pretty much during the lockdown and the amount of money they had to throw at the country, which of course we all know was a disaster. What I want you to pay attention to is the terminology he was using. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna. It's always the same thing with the Liberal Party. It's just around the corner. If this budget was making such an improvement, if this tax cut to the individual Canadian, which everybody knows is like $50 per person per household, or per adult per household, excuse me. If that was making such a significant impact, then how come Canadians' lives are getting worse? It's been, like you said, it was the first thing you did. So it's been many, many months, and there has been zero increase or improvement as a result of that action. But I don't think Philip Champagne is one of those individuals that keeps track of the things that come out of his mouth. He just feels like he can talk and talk and talk, because nobody on the Liberal side of the aisle ever challenges the Liberals for their complete lack of performance.
The Opposition.
Prime Minister didn't just break his promises on food, also on housing. He said he'd double home building. But today, a report out from the Missing Middle shows that housing starts are down 34% across 34 Ontario municipalities. Condo starts down 51%. Yet the Prime Minister goes ahead with a Liberal industrial carbon tax on the steel, aluminum, glass, and other inputs required to build homes. It is a tax on homes, all while he hides his millions of dollars in a Bermuda tax haven. Why does he hide his money abroad while taxing homes here in Canada?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If the Leader of the Opposition and Conservatives actually cared about affordable housing, they would have voted for the budget with $13 billion for affordable housing. Mr. Speaker, they could have voted for $1 billion to fight homelessness and build supportive housing. These Conservatives stalled the first-time home buyers GST break since June. They have no credibility on affordable housing, Mr. Speaker.
There's a couple of things in that last answer that we should drill down on. First of all, we see a great example of why the Liberal Party is desperate for censorship. They blame the Conservatives not because the Conservatives accused them of something that wasn't true, but simply for passing the information from the source of the report. The report said that there was, housing starts are down and all of the rest of those things. And the Liberal government got angry at the Conservatives for it. Not angry at themselves for lack of productivity, not angry or ashamed of themselves for not being able to solve the problems of the Canadian people. No. It's the Conservatives for saying it out loud that there is somehow the idea. They feel that you can't pass that information to the Liberal government because the Liberal government is obviously too fragile to hear the facts on the ground. And that's why they want to be able to stop what you have to say, because they don't want the truth to come out, because the truth coming out makes them look like they are incompetent and incapable of accomplishing the things that they said they were going to do. So they turn around and they say, oh, he didn't vote for the budget. That means that you out there right now that are homeless, or you out there that's facing increased rental prices, and you out there that has just lost your job, that's the problem. It's not that those things are actually happening to you, but it's because Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives dared to say something about it. This is a twisted kind of logic, in my opinion, which is why we have to make sure that many of the media outlets in this country do not survive. We have to stop the censorship. We cannot allow them to encourage censorship and still get funding from us. That's the kind of thing that Canadians have to send a message loud and clear. You can let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm going to wrap here. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you next time.